Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you all for coming. We'll start with a roll call, please.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Here.
Hannah,
Here.
Moore,
Here.
Crusader,
Here.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen. Here.
Next, we move to the approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we have public comment. Any cards, Dave?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Anything from you that you have? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next item. Logan, did you have something for us?
I did, yes.
You want to come forward?
Yeah.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Welcome home.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone. First, I would like to thank you all for allowing me to speak at the City Council meeting today. If you're not aware of who I am, my name is Officer Logan Flack. I was hired here back in 2021. Now that is out of the way, let's get into why I'm here. In December of 2022, I was deployed overseas, so I took a year-long leave of absence in 120-degree weather or so. During my time while deployed, Chief Nieder checked up on me with text messages or different types of communications. The police department, along with the VFW and many others, sent me care packages, which I very much appreciated. I want to thank Chief Nieder and the city for supporting me during my time when I was deployed. When I returned home, Chief Nieder made sure that I was taken care of by allowing me to have the right amount of time to take to make sure that I was ready to return back to work to perform at my best. With that being said, on behalf of the Office of the Secretary of Defense Employer Support of the Guard and Reserves, along with myself, I'm here to present Chief Nieder, the rest of the police department, and the City of Independence with the Patriotic Employer Award. The Patriotic Employer Award is awarded to employers who have contributed to national security and protecting liberty and freedom by supporting employee participation in America's National Guard and Reserve Forces.
Congratulations, Chief. Thank you, Logan.
Welcome back.
Logan, thank you for your service and welcome home.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next we'll move to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda that approves the following. The minutes of the January 8, 2024 regular meeting, the Gedney Bakery and Coffee House Class C retail alcohol license effective December 1, 2023 through November 30th, 2024. Spot Smoke Shop Class E retail alcohol license effective February 1, 2024 through January 31, 2025. And the River's Edge Sport and Fitness Special Class C retail alcohol license effective February 2, 2024 through February 1, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the financials. I need a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion with regard to that? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-0. Next, we move the revenues and expenses to date for information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to those that they wish Susie to help us with? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item 9, which is the transfers. Again, this is information only. Anybody have any questions with regard to any of the transfers? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to item number 10, which is the DeBur Catalyst Grant pre-application. First, I need a motion to approve the DeBur Catalyst Grant pre-application.
So moved.
I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion with regard to that.
Did we get the back entrance issue fixed?
My understanding is that they're still negotiating on it. They've had discussion with respect to it, but I don't think they finalized the discussions itself.
Matt, I was reading through the notes, and the TIF may not come through for us.
Yeah, so that's one of the things to remember is TIF money is not necessarily guaranteed. If there's not enough increase in valuation to support the funds, the TIF money that we request, the county may not give us everything that we request.
Well, then, we don't have enough general fund latitude to fill that gap, do we?
That's a decision the council has to make.
I don't
What,
see it.
what was that? Refresh my mind on what was the dollar amount?
100,000.
This is $100,000 that the city would have to put towards the grant.
So just so everybody's aware of that, there is an issue with regard to the TIF reporting, and my understanding is that we don't have all of the up-to-date reports from the county with respect to the TIF, and so we have not received all of the money because we haven't received the reporting yet.
So there's a reconciliation report that should be filed and
We're
distributed
supposed
to
to
the
get that
city
every year. We should petition the
And we haven't
auditor
seen that
to
yet.
provide us with that information.
When are they supposed to have that to us?
It's supposed to be provided to us at the end of every year, I think in December.
And we haven't gotten it since 2021. Is that right?
Cindy, was gone in 2021, so it's been since she left.
I think so. I don't believe we've had it since then.
Susie, can you help us, please?
Be glad to, thank you. I would have to look for sure when the last time I actually got one, but one thing to keep in mind is, so I ask TIF money for the fiscal year, but the reconciliation report I get from the county is for a calendar year. I don't know why it's different, so don't ask me. It's just, that's how it is. But I'm not 100% sure how to properly reconcile it, as opposed to, this is what I've asked for, these are the agreements that are on record, and just to double check that. That's how I was taught. I don't know if there's a true way to reconcile it other than that. That would be something I'd have to reach out to Department of Management.
But my understanding from the time I've been on the council, almost 9 years now, is every year we've gotten a TIF report from the county.
Yes,
That's mandated by the state.
that I don't know.
That was my understanding back in the day.
I have to ask every year I have to put in my request to the county every year. I don't know if they are then required to give me a reconciliation report. It was asked during our last audit to see that report, and I said I do not have it, because I was trying to figure out what happened with the TIF asking, but for fiscal 23, but they can only collect TIF money that they have the authority to if the value is there. She has turned on some districts so I can get the additional money, but it's like the lottery. You don't always
Did we
get winning numbers.
Did we take a hit on our audit as a result of this?
Yes, I did have an audit comment on it.
Since they operate on a calendar year and we operate on fiscal year, is there
No.
any money left over from
No.
that calendar year?
No. The reconciliation report is a calendar year, but the county does operate on a fiscal year. Like I said, I don't understand why the reasoning is why one report is one way and the other is a different way. I'd have to ask the Department of Management.
Well, we did receive some money from the county for the TIF, is that right?
Yes.
But it just wasn't the amount that we had requested and had been approved for.
Correct. TIF money is about like any other money I ask for when doing the budget. It is not a guaranteed thing. All I can do is say, I would like just to throw out a number, $500,000. I get it, great. If not, I get an audit comment.
And in the past, have we always gotten what we had requested and been approved for?
I would have to do research.
We'd have to
I
go
don't
back
have
through
that
everything.
answer right at this moment.
As far as I remember, it certainly has been. This is the first time I've ever seen us not gain the appropriate amount from TIF.
I would have to do research. I don't feel comfortable giving an answer.
Okay, well, we've kind of gotten off topic here a little bit because the topic here is the Catalyst grant. It's just the concern about the funding for it came up, and thank you, Mike, for raising that. Other questions about the the Catalyst grant itself. I know Lisa's here, so she can certainly speak to any questions that anybody has.
So this grant application, this is just an application as I understand it, and it's due at the end of the month?
Yes.
Come up to the microphone.
Yeah, come up
please.
and, because I'm thinking that we would at least want to apply for it and then see if we even get it before we, because there's an opportunity then to say, we don't have.
But if we
Well, if we
approve it,
apply-
then we're committed for $100,000. We're committed to $100,000.
This is the pre-application. They will either invite us or invite you or not invite you to be an applicant. And even if you are invited to be an applicant, if it comes up and you find that you're not going to have the TIF dollars to be able to fund it, you can, you provide them that explanation, they understand. Just because you are invited doesn't mean you have to, but if you don't do the pre-application, you don't have the opportunity after this. If you decide in March you want to do it, you can't do it if you haven't pre-applied.
Are we signing anything, agreeing to pay
No.
anything?
No.
Okay.
It's
So-
just
so
the
this is the
agreement
pre-
that we had when you first talked about it, that you were going to do 100,000.
So this is the pre-application, which we really should do, and then down the road comes on if we do it or not,
So
if I understand it
the
correctly.
final application is due around April 15th.
And we should know by then what our finances
Right.
are a little bit more with the TIF funds, correct? Maybe,
Hopefully.
Theoretically.
theoretically?
Now, Lisa, in terms of the project itself, has she made a decision yet with respect to what she's going to do downstairs? I know she wanted to do retail, but she currently has services in two of them. I just was curious if she has any plans for any further information, any prospective tenant, any type of retail she's talking about?
So for the two existing businesses, there should have been in the packet some renderings that were done. Those are what would happen to all three of the storefronts, some variation of that. The vacant storefront would be specifically, she's trying to get something retail in there. But the other two businesses, I believe, will stay. But when those businesses would leave, they would then be more compatible with retail than they are at this point.
So is it your understanding that the current two tenants that are there would be allowed to stay?
Yes.
Now, would there be construction that would be going on during the operations of their businesses then?
There would be some.
Okay. And then it's 2 units upstairs, a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and my understanding is that she wants to do some type of a rental or like a B&B or something like that, and that she's got experience with that because she's done that in town already.
Yes, I believe she has 2 Airbnbs or BRBs. And then, so just like really all of the ones that have been done downtown, it would be set up that it can be a monthly rental, like an apartment. What their plan is right now is to do that Airbnb. But if for whatever reason that doesn't work out, then it can be kind of a monthly.
Okay. And I know that they're working on anything with regard to the back of the building and anything. Do you know if there's an intention, if she has an intention that each of the 3 units down below would have access to the back so that they could, their customers could come and from the back and from the front as well?
You would have to ask. I would assume so, but that's an assumption. I'd have to ask her. And she couldn't be here tonight because she has father-in-law is relation.
I saw one of the pictures and it looks like there's some kind of stairs that go up at least to the 2nd or 3rd level of there. Would there be stairs that would be from both of the 2 units upstairs, or how would that work out if you know?
So there are there are actually 2 stairways up, one on each. So there are 3 units,
one on each side of the unit, so there could be access by both apartments to each of those staircases.
Okay, and then they would just need some access from there to the ground itself,
Right,
the parking lot area.
right, yeah.
You had talked with IEDA too about if we were to apply for this or to do the pre-application and then remove that application or withdraw that application because of a lack of funding, that wouldn't count against us for future applications.
Right. They have been seeing that somewhat throughout the state because of things that are happening, so they're not going to, they're not going to penalize you if that is the case where it comes back, but looking at the TIF dollars, it just isn't something that we can.
I realize that this may be a little bit off target now, but is there anything, I mean, I know that the Spa Grove building upstairs is never completed with respect to the units up there. Is that going to be held against us at all because
In
the
the
fact that they
States.
It's out of their hands.
In the state's eyes, it is completed.
Yep.
Other questions? Anything else? Okay, so then we have a motion and a second to approve the Catalyst grant pre-application for the BRRS. This will be a roll call vote.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Brusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Thank you, Lisa.
Lisa,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you very much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, next we'll move to to item number 11. This is the time and place set for a hearing upon the proposed resolution of necessity covering the 2024 street rehabilitation project. All written objections heretofore filed and all written and oral communications filed or made during the hearing will be considered by the City Council. Is there anybody that wishes to speak with regard to this 2024 street rehabilitation resolution of necessity?
Hello, my name is Damon Kress. I live at 809 6th Street, and I was just curious if this is a common practice with the street repair. This is the first time it's ever occurred, and just wondering about the assessment of the money, how that will work and stuff.
Sure, I can answer part of that. The part of it is that this is something that we do every year. In the past, we've been doing this for at least
8 years.
8 years. And what we do is we try to determine the streets that most need the work within the city itself, and then we create a 5-year plan. So we've got a certain number of streets that are being done each of the years within the plan. And then, Brian, do you want to help me out with in terms of how the calculations are done in terms of Brian Crawford? He's the engineer that assists with all this.
Yes, the $30 per lineal foot of frontage is what the previous council selected back in 2017 when the program was developed. And that $30 per lineal foot, excuse me, of frontage hasn't changed in the program. It stayed, even though the city has seen the costs increase since that time. The city has borne the burden of those increases. They have not passed that on to the residents, who are especially benefited by the improvements.
Thanks, Brent.
Do you know, Ryan, I have a follow-up question for you, if I can. Was that originally $30 per linear foot? Was that based on like a 50-50 split, or do you remember what it was originally based on?
I believe they wanted to get close to, and Mike might remember this, 25% of it, that $30 used to cover between 20 and 25%. No longer covers that, but again, you guys have consistently held that.
We wanted citizens to have some skin in the game. See, for 30 years ago, there was an assessment. And then after, I think about 19 years ago, they stopped assessing. It was just the city bore the burden of the entire project. Well, former Mayor Hill, was on the council during some of that time. That made a good point that the city could no longer continue to improve the roads without some assistance from the citizens, and 20 to 25% was what we felt was needed, and that the $30 represented that amount, and so that's what we went on.
Brian, when they send out the notices, do they give them some type of an option in terms of payment plans or anything like that? Or is it just they have to pay the entire lump sum at a particular time? That's a you think?
So right now, all it is a preliminary assessment saying this is what you could be charged. When it comes to the project is done, then you get basically a very similar mailing like that just went out. And it says this is what your price is. You have 30 days from the first date it's published in the paper. You can pay it in full to the city. You can make a partial payment, and then the rest would go to the county. And it would, typically it is done over 10 years, and historically the interest rate has been 4%. That is what council decides when we get to that point of the project. Or you could choose not to pay anything to the city and it all goes to the county. And then the county does their thing, and I believe they then send out a schedule of a rough ballpark of this is how much each year you'll be on top of your property taxes.
So you'll be assessed we assess the amount of money that the county decides is the appropriate amount to pay it off within the time period that they decide on.
And the last time we checked with the county auditor, it was roughly half of the assessments that were paid up front, and half of them paid partial, and continued on that maximum of 10-year payment program.
Do you have some further questions?
So it's an option each person has.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in and speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
I do have,
wait, okay.
I do have one comment on it. It was brought to my attention. I said I would mention at the council meeting. It was brought up about in past, some people didn't want a street project, and to my knowledge, it was like, at that time, it was 75% of the people, if they signed against it, the city would not do it. My advice was, if you kick the can down the road, you're gonna get by cheaper now than if it's 10 years down the road doing it. So is a city ordinance on that, or was that just what happened at the time, or any clarification on that?
75% of the total assessed value, Brian, is that right?
Correct, and that's outlined by the state code.
State code?
Not necessarily a city ordinance, but the state code that speaks directly to. And actually what it talks about is in the event of written objections are filed by owners subject to at least 75% of the amount of the proposed assessments, the resolution of necessity must pass in final form by unanimous vote. The state code doesn't say that if 75% is represented, then the project fails. It's just that then the council would need a unanimous vote to proceed.
And in the past, what we've done is when there was that much opposition, we just forego the project.
That has occurred one time in the 8 years, that's correct.
No, and not the entire project was foregone.
Just
Just that
piece.
one section, but then,
The whole thing.
No. The 2022 street rehab project, we had a petition. It was really close of those that were not in favor of it. Council at that time chose to scrap the whole project. None of it was done.
all streets.
Whole project, none of it was done. So
Okay.
we went from the street rehab project in 2021 to the one in 2023.
Okay. Okay, so the,
I do want to state for the record, I did not receive any written in favors or against this project prior to the council meeting tonight.
Thank you.
so since there's been no further objections or remonstrations, how to pronounce that, the hearing is now closed. Next, we move to item number 13. We skipped 12 because there are no amendments. Item number 12 is a motion to approve the resolution of necessity for the 2024 rehabilitation project.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further discussion with regard to this then? I think we've kind of discussed it all, but just in case there's anybody has anything. That would be a roll call vote then.
Moore,
Yes.
Brusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 14, which is the resolution ratifying the preparation of the plans. So I need a motion to approve the resolution ratifying the preparation of detailed plans, specification, notice of hearing, to bidders, and form of contract.
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion with regard to this? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote as well.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
Yeah, that passes 7-0. Next, we move to the
One
resolution.
question.
Sure.
Now is it too late for people to, citizens to come forth and say they don't want the road done?
Yes, it is, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
would need
thank
to,
you.
that would need to occur before the resolution of necessity is finalized.
That's what I thought. All right, thanks.
Okay, we move to item number 15. I need a motion to approve what we had as the attached resolution outlining changes to the vacation award accrual and carryover.
Second. Move. Second.
I have a motion and a second, and we discussed this at...
Not sure
we
what that
discussed-
was.
We discussed this in a lot of detail at the
Yes, we
work
did.
session. Is there anybody else that has a further discussion with respect to this?
No, but for the public, what I would say is, it's not an increase at all. It's just distribution, different distribution.
Maybe
Very,
minute.
very minor because of rounding.
Yeah.
That's the only increase, because it was 120 hours, 144, so on and so forth for fire department, for example. Now it's 120.12, now it's 144.04.
Yeah, so
You know, just rounding
minimal.
issues, but in the employee's favor. The one thing I did want to point out that I don't think we talked about during the work session very much was union employees are not part of this. They would still accrue based on their union, based on
contractual.
their collective bargaining agreement. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, then this will be a roll call vote.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to the item number 16, which is I need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution that accepts the work covering the Independence COVID facade project and to authorize the city manager to sign the certificate of substantial completion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We have, there's two phases that are currently going on with regard to the facade work downtown. The first one that we started was the COVID facade project. The second one, we're calling it the phase one or first phase. First phase is still in the process of being completed with a couple of the stores, I think, for the most part.
Adams Furniture.
And there's some tile on the
Quilter's Corner.
on Quilter's Corner, and there may be a couple of other minor things, but everything is done with respect to the COVID phase one. So, the COVID facade project. So what we're doing is the final cost of the project was $557,431. That project is complete. We just need to finish the funding on it. So that's what's before you right now. Any further discussion with regard to that? Okay, hearing none, this is a roll call vote then.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Next, we move to item number 17. This is a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the resolution that repeals and replaces Resolution 2022-97. That was a resolution approving a development agreement. First, I need the motion.
So moved.
Second.
The motion is second. What we're talking about here is we have a grant with respect to what was Hardware Hank, which is now Coles Ace Hardware. Obviously, we need a name change, but there's also a couple of other items with regard to the original agreement. Apparently, the wrong template was used for it, and we've discussed this with the city attorney, Doug Herman, and he's corrected this, and he feels that it's appropriate for the city to repeal the resolution from 2022 and to put this resolution in its place. So that's what we're here today about. Okay. Anybody have any questions with regard to that? Okay, hearing none, this is a roll call vote.
Weber,
Yes.
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen.
Yes.
Passes 7-0. Okay. And we move to reports, council members. Catherine, we'll start with you. Do you have anything?
I do not. Thank you for asking.
Mike?
I would just, I wasn't aware of our lack of TIF report from the county, so I would request that we formally request that from the county auditor, so we know where we are with our funds.
We will do so. I've got a note to do that tomorrow morning.
I
Thank
bet
you.
Susie's on it too.
Yep.
Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's
Brian?
No, sir. Nothing, thank you.
Deb, do you have anything?
No, thank you.
Just another shout out to the street department for doing a great job with the snow removal.
Okay, thank you.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Okay.
I had a couple things. January 25th, we're going to have a meeting about the state's revolving fund related to the wastewater treatment plant to get the city put on the intended use plan so that we can apply for those revolving fund monies. I think Councilman O'Laughlin was planning to attend that with us, as long as everybody's okay with that. If anybody else wanted to attend from the council, we can do that. Can't have more than 3 unless we're going to post it as a public meeting. So if there's anybody that wants to attend, let me know. Otherwise, I think Mike has been proactive in reaching out to try to help us find funding on it, so appreciate that. And then a while back, I was asked about the railing on the Malone Bridge because there's some deterioration along the railing that has occurred. What I was told by the engineer was that back when that project was done, we decided to powder coat that rather than galvanize the railing in an attempt to reduce cost for the railing. That powder coat has not held up. So my intention at this point is, realistically lifespan, it's probably got years left before it's a problem. But thank you to Deb for pointing that out and letting me know that it was an issue. My intention is just to program it for a rail replacement at some point, but it's going to have to be down the road a ways because obviously with our funding situation and everything else, it'd be a CIP project that we would do further down the road.
This is first.
Should this be touched up?
It could be touched up, but rust is one of those things, as all of us who live in Iowa are well aware. Once it starts, it's pretty hard to stop it. And with the snow removal that we do and everything else, where we're throwing snow and salt and everything over there all the time when we're clearing the road, I don't know that touching it up would do a lot of good, but we could try to get a few more years of life maybe out of it with that. I can talk with Brad with our streets guys and see if he thinks that there's something they can do.
Is it both sides or one side or?
It's pretty prevalent. There's issues out through it. Did you have something?
I was just going to mention the possibility of undercoating or something like that that would hold up to the sand and salt. If there's a way that we could do that.
Yeah, I'll talk with, like I said, I'll talk with the streets guys and see if there's something we can come up with to do that. The only other thing I wanted to point out was the RFP for engineering services for the new IPF was released last Friday. So that's out for people to look at and under consideration. And then the RFP for insurance services was also put out last week as well. So those two things are both out there for people to start looking at and submitting on. And that's all I've got.
Susie, do you have anything? What was the date that we're having our,
30, I was just looking at that. I think it's the 31st.
Community visioning?
So community visioning is is on the 31st, which is a Wednesday at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
okay. That would just be the committee unless somebody from council wanted to go, and then we could have, make sure that we had the right numbers in terms of having to give notice, et cetera. I don't have anything further, so let's move to the next item, which is an unscheduled item here. We've got 2 East Buchanan students. They need
to ask a question, and they also need to have a signature before they leave.
Do one of you want to come up then?
That'll be a good question.
It'll be good, I'm sure.
Do I need to say my name, or?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Justin Buttville. I am attending East Buchanan as a senior. Anything else you need to know about me, sir?
Not at the moment. I'll let you know after I hear your question.
All right. So I noticed you were talking about retail alcohol for multiple businesses. Do all retail licenses or retail acceptance have to go through the city council then?
They do. We're not, go ahead, Matt.
For alcohol, it's really more Susie probably than myself. Susie, go ahead.
So yes, any new retail alcohol license or renewal has to go through council for formal approval.
They also have to get approval from the state as well, right?
They start the process with Iowa Alcohol Beverage Division, and then it comes to the local authority, whether it be a city or a county. But the city or county has to, in theory, give it a blessing, and then it goes back to the state level.
Right. That was my question.
Okay,
Good question. Thank you.
Excellent question.
you're up.
Do you need me to sign your paper real quick that you were here?
My name's Henry Bockenstead. I'm also senior at East Buchanan. My question was based on the number 11. It just came up in my head. Based on the fact that you guys said you guys get canceled the 2022.
21 Street. Oh yeah, 22. Sorry.
What was the cause for people not wanting that?
Well,
Why would people not want that?
I mean, I'm not sure exactly. My understanding was that some of the people, what? Go ahead.
Basically, there was enough people that were informed of one thing and did not want to pay the special assessment. So that is when the city charges the property owner $30 per linear foot. So say this is the street. I'm going to pay $30 per foot towards the project. There were some property owners that did not want to pay that. It did not meet the required 75%, so council just decided to scrap the project and not do it.
That's all I've got. Thank you.
Okay, sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see
Okay,
you.
why don't you
Thanks
give
for
his
coming.
signature, and then,
I think.
we're going into closed session.
People,
Pardon me?
one lady I talked to, her mother lived there. She was on a very fixed income and just didn't think she could afford it. But I don't think they always understood too that they could spread it out over a period of time, which is something that we explained tonight to the.
Catherine.
Okay, next, item number 20, I need a motion to enter into closed session pursuant to Iowa Code 21.5, sub 1, sub I, to evaluate the professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to the individual's reputation, and the individual requests a closed session. So first I need the,
Second?
okay, I need a roll call vote on that then?
Houston,
Yes.
Hannah, Moore,
Yes.
Crusader,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Jensen,
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Okay, it passes 7-0, so we're now in closed session.